Hey folks, Dude here, and well, I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna be using the flip camera because I'm just gonna freehand it, so it's not gonna be like Mr. Picture Perfect here. But well, Mrs. Dude and I, well, we were out and about, and we went by the dealership where we happened to buy her CRV, also known as the baby truck. I really like Hondas. As a matter of fact, I mean, well, hell, we've got 3 of them now. The Daily Driver's getting old and tired, and I'm thinking it might be time to replace it. And of course, I'm still job hunting, so I'm not ready to jump on the bandwagon just yet to say, I've got a car note. But I am ready pretty much to say bye-bye to Toyota and jump on probably another Honda. Okay, from chronological backwards to forwards, well, obviously you guys know I've got an 85 CRX SI. It's an outrageously fun car. If you ever have a chance to get one, get one. You can let that car sit for 2 months, well, hop in it, crank the key, it fires up, it goes like stink. The thing probably gets, decent gas mileage compared to a lot of newer stuff. Comparatively, you don't want to crash it. This is not a car to wreck out in because it's 1,800 pounds a car. Challenging that thing against an Escalade, you're going to lose. You're going to lose badly. Okay, so I've got that car. Also conversely, I've got that car, which basically is a 1995 Honda Del Sol SI. Now, the funny-ass thing is, everybody goes on, oh, it's a Del Sol, it's too heavy, it's a Targa, it's this, it's that. In Japan, the Del Sol was always the CRX. The CRX was always a Honda, and it was always known as the CRX / Del Sol. That would be of Sun in Spanish. Why the Japanese are using Spanish, I don't know. It makes a whole hell of a lot of sense. Not to me at all. But anyway, you can see this is correct because it's got the 2 auxiliary lights in the front. I don't have mine installed yet. I'm kind of cheating a little bit because, I basically rebuilt the front end after sliding it under some chick in Washington, D.C. I was annoyed with that one. But anyway, the long and the short of it is, basically the car's back together. I now have that cool little SS hood on there, and everybody sees the car and they really like it. As a matter of fact, I was driving around the other day and stopped at a stoplight, and some guy's like, hey man, you're selling it? It's like, no. It's like, yeah, you're selling it next year, right? It's like, no, I don't know where you're getting that from. There's no for sale sign on it. Obviously, I'm the white guy driving the car around, and it's not going anywhere. But, yeah, I mean, it's pretty funny sometimes. I mean, because also, mine's the SI, and it's kind of chicked out because it's got the rear wing on it. I've heard a bunch of people dog on me because it's got the wing, and it's like, oh, that's a girl's car. It's like, you know what, dude? 127 horsepower in a car that basically goes like stink and handles good? That's not a girl's car. That's basically a girl's preferred car that drives good. All right, well, so anyway, like I said, we went roundy round, stopped by the dealership. What did they have in stock? They had that. That is the latest generation, and call it what you will, of Honda, known as the CRZ. And he's small. I mean, to put it in perspective, let me jump back a second here. The main reason why I jumped in an 85 CRX in the first frickin' place, because I happened to be working at a BMW dealership, and I got to play with the Mini Coopers. The Mini Cooper is a 12-foot-long car. Conversely, yeah, that's right, the CRX from 1990, was it 1990 or 1983 and a half, 1984 to 1987, which would be your 1988 model. In 1988, they went to the newer body style, but for those years, that was this car. This car is only 12 feet long. I mean, this thing fits anywhere. I mean, it is, well, it ain't much bigger than an MG midget, but it actually does have an area where you can throw stuff. You have a roof over your head. It's got a sunroof. You know what? Even in the hottest days of summer, this car is really not that blisteringly hot. Surprisingly. I mean, yeah, I wish it really had AC, and yeah, there's some days where I'm really sweating sitting in traffic, but it ain't that bad. I mean, it actually has, well, the blue interior, but the headliner's white. So this thing really doesn't get blisteringly hot. I really, truly enjoy this car. I got into it for fairly cheap, and I ain't selling it anytime soon, even if I can't drive it often with the bad knee, but I do drive it whenever I get the chance. Now, conversely, my Del Sol is an automatic. I got it, basically it's an automatic because, well, I wanted to have a second car I could drive besides daily driver that would be an automatic and wouldn't stress the knee out too much. And I gotta tell you, getting out of this car sometimes is really a pain in the ass with a bad leg. Is it because the doorway is smaller? Yeah, a little bit. I mean, but the major thing is, well, you're getting way down in the car. The CRX, believe it or not, has a seat height that's not too bad. This sucker, man, it's almost like getting in a Corvette. You're getting into the car. You're putting it on like a pair of pants. Now, the newer version, which would be the CRZ, look at the door length on this thing. I mean, the overhangs are like really short. I mean, you got, okay, the classic way they always describe these cars is overhang. That would be the amount of distance that you have from the back edge of the wheel to the back end of the car, and of course the front edge of the wheel to the front end of the car. The overhangs of this car are not much. I mean, this thing's really got the wheels out at all four corners, which is one of those cool handling tweaks. It makes your car handle better because you don't have a bunch of weight hanging over and throwing you off. And okay, I know they call this a sport hybrid, which is really a conflict in terms. Okay, let's put this in perspective. That would be like saying nude beach, rabid pit bull. It's just two things that really doesn't go together. I mean, nude beach and rabbit pit bulls are not recommended by the 80s podcast channel or dude. Don't do that. Also, of course, don't paint hamburger all over people before you set them loose on the beach. Okay, that I shall say no more. But of course, going back to the CRZ, I walked up on this thing, and of course parked Mrs. Dude's mobile, so the headlights were shining on it, and I was talking to the guy, who swooped down like a shark in the middle of feeding time. Just give me 1 second here. Coffee with Gentleman Jack. Good shiznit. Alas, I digress. Okay, well, anyway, we're looking at this thing. The car salesman swooped down. All right, he swooped down like a turkey buzzard looking at a rotting corpse. Comes out, and he's like, hey, how you doing, buddy? Blah, 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 blah. We got two of these. We got one base model with automatic, one base model with 6-speed stick, and we got this one here, which is dressed up, which is an EX, and it's got automatic. Okay, the automatic is definitely going to be the way I'm going to go. That's just me. I mean, yeah, stick would be so much better with a hybrid engine setup, and you know what? I'm towing 45 in about another 6-7 months. I'm kind of tired of rowing gears for an occupational hazard. Okay, call me lazy. You're talking 2 to 3 miles per gallon less. I can live with that. Okay, the other thing too is the exhaust note on these sound good. You have the 3 buttons to play with. Of course, I'd be driving around in sport 99.9% of the time. Doesn't make sense to fart around in like putt mode. Even in that regard, you're going to be towing high 30s. That's not bad. That's a commuter mobile in my book, and even Mrs. Dude was like, you know what? That's not a bad looking car. I mean, we looked at the interior. The interior on this thing is freaking huge. I was shocked at how much room there is for passengers. And the other thing, too, is, yes, I heard stories going back and forth about it being a 2+2, and blah, blah, blah. There is no back seat in this car. The rear package area, like just behind the seats, you can see the little vents. Okay, those of you who know Hondas know about the Insight, the previous Insight, and the one that kind of looked a little bit like a CRX, which was the aluminum bodied Insight, which was like the first generation little 2-seater thing. Same brakes, believe it or not. Those brake rotors are still in stock for not that car, this car. I can go into a Honda dealership right now and get the brake rotors for this car because the previous Insight, like the little tiny guy with the aluminum body, same exact parts as this car. How cool is that? 20 some odd years after the fact, they're using off-the-shelf parts from first generation CRX. That's cool. All right, well, anyway, to go back to the CRZ, it's really a departure, if you think about it, to say that there's something called a hybrid sport. Actually, to be perfectly specific with you, the 1.5 is out of the fit. The the integrated, mechanical assist, whatever, something along this. I forget what the acronyms mean anymore. It really is just crap. It's selling points. But the basic running gear of this car, including the engine, is a fit, also known as the world market as a Jazz. That would be the, oh hell, let me see if I can't find one real quick. That's right, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to Google it up right in front of you guys. Honda Fit. F-I-T. Hit it. And let's see. Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. Yeah, I mean, nothing crazy. I mean, that is basically your Honda Fit. It looks a little like a station wagon. Okay, to me, what it really looks like is it looks like a mini Odyssey. Are they great vehicles? They're okay. I mean, I know I'm using the flip camera, so my picture kind of sucks. This is the first camera I grabbed, so, sorry, shoot me. I got the little watermark and everything. Oh, sorry. Well, anyway, it didn't really need to have great detail. It just need to be an okay video, because, this isn't, like, detail-oriented. It's pretty much just me prattling on about that car. But I think that's probably going to be the way I'm going to go when I replace the Daily Driver, because it's going to be doing a lot of things that the Daily Driver doesn't do. One, it doesn't get gas mileage tow in the 40s on the highway. Two, I really don't need the back seat because I'm not transporting 4 people most of the time, because most of the time I'm transporting more than that. I'm driving the Mrs. Dudemobile. Also, big honking doorways to get in and out of. Also, big honking passenger area, and I'm really shaking the camera, folks. Sorry about that. Big honking passenger area to get in and out of. And, it looks like it's going to be a good fit for me to basically have it as a 1, 2, 3, third car. Okay, yeah, this is also probably going to be my very first new purchase. You know what? I may wait for a year for these things to cycle back in off a lease, or somebody to buy it and go, you know what? I decided I didn't want it, and lose, through depreciation, about $6,000 or $7,000 off the price of purchase. Yeah, folks, that's the worst investment you ever can do, is buy a car. It's not an investment. It's a hole in the ground that you throw all your money and, you lose your ass on. Because the first year, you have 25 to 28% depreciation of value. Not good. So, here's a cute trick. I'm going roundy round here, but here's a cute trick. Buy a car 1 year old. If it is a Honda, if it's a Toyota, if it's one of the other major names and you got enough warranty on it, buy it after it's a year old. You're not going to lose your shirt. And, of course, the depreciation was paid for by the other guy. All right, folks, so this is going to be one of those update videos I'm probably going to post, like, just before I roll out to give you guys something to look at. And thanks again so much for all your support. I really, really appreciate the fact you guys are cranking my numbers up through the roof. And I really, really appreciate all your concern, all your caring, all your friendship, and, of course, all that good other stuff that comes along with, well, you guys say, you know what? Dude's all right, and we want to side with him. I really appreciate that, and, well, I won't cheat you on your confidence. Thank you so very much, and, of course, here on the 80s Podcast Channel, see ya, and, of course,